Hi, Kat.
Coming to you a little bit earlier than expected, but we are going to start off, in fact, with a business-type story. So that fits in, doesn't it? Some
sense.
disappointing news for François Hollande's government on youth employment.
That's right. Now, the key words are going to be employment, unemployment for the upcoming presidential election. And François Hollande has famously said that he won't run for re-election if he can't budge the stubbornly high unemployment here in France. And a new report has just come out by the Court of Auditors that says that programs to help aid youth employment have been, quote, disappointing. And this comes from the business paper Les Echos, and it has the big headline, Youth Employment, a Failed Policy. So pretty harsh there. And the paper goes on to report that, well, despite a few good initiatives here or there, that there hasn't been much return on the 10.5 billion euros that's been invested.
And another business paper, pro-business paper, L'Opinion, also picking up on this theme.
Right. They're following again on the same topic. It says they go on to report that France is among the worst in high youth unemployment, that they have twice as many out of work as in Germany, and it's only gotten worse since 2013. And then the paper goes to report on some figures here to drive that point home, that 23.7% of young people are out of work compared with 9.6% of the total population. And then it quotes the OECD, which found that young people, one young person out of 6 between the age of 15 and 25 is out of work here in France. That's 270,000 more young people out of work than in 2008, and that more than 1.8 million youth don't have jobs or are not in a training program. And staying with L'Opinion, if we move to their editorial pages in the opinion section, it says that this failure is a betrayal of 2 promises by Hollande. He's not managed to reverse the unemployment curve. He hasn't managed to bring it down as he's promised, and so therefore he hasn't improved living conditions of young people. And that goes on to say that what the government needs to do right now is to invest in schools, training, and education because a third of voters 18 to 30 are looking to vote Front National. So that's the far right party here in France.
All right, people across the board looking for answers. Indeed, in the campaigns that are kind of starting to get going now for the French presidential election next May, we've got the Les Republicains party, the opposition to the government, things starting to heat up in their primary battle.
Right, so that's the Conservative Party here. There's a heated battle for the top 2 contenders to who's going to end up representing the party in the general elections. It's between former President Nicolas Sarkozy and former Prime Minister Alain Juppé, who was also Sarkozy's foreign minister. And the campaign at times has been a little bit ugly. So L'Opinion here is reporting that Sarkozy is seeking a second wind, that he's trying to counter efforts that his campaign is in trouble, and he wants to show that he's continuing to mobilize the people on the right and on the ground as a way of trying to catch Alain Juppé in the polls.
All right, so if we just have a look at that cartoon again, am I right in saying that's Nicolas Sarkozy as Asterix, looking for the last drop of the magic potion?
Exactly, a little drop of the magic potion to push him ahead.
Seriously, the cartoonist in L'Opinion is on fire this week. But away from Nicolas Sarkozy, there's also Alain Juppé. Up to now, most people I've spoken to here in France have said, oh, it's sure he's going to win. What do the papers think?
Right, so we'll take a look at La Croix, which is saying that he's at the center of the game. It's saying that 71 years old, the mayor of Bordeaux is still the favorite. The polls are showing him ahead in the primary race. And it goes on to say that it's his experience and restraint that are very appealing to disappointed Nicolas Sarkozy and François Hollande voters. But Le Parisien is asking, is he really unbeatable? The paper says that his rivals on the right and the left are ensuring that at most he's a speculative bubble, the flavor of the moment right now, and that he'll soon deflate. And the paper there goes on to quote a member of the Sarkozy team as saying, I've never heard someone shouting Alain, Alain in the streets.
Okay, well, who's to say what's going to happen in the next few weeks? We started off with one issue that's very concrete, numbers and figures on unemployment that we're expecting people to talk about a lot. We're also expecting them to talk about something a bit more nebulous, aren't we? The issue of French national identity. This very much being picked up on in the papers.
That's right. This sort of question of what is French national identity. And the communist paper Humanité is taking a look and saying that, the far right National Front is having an effect on both the primary campaigns of the Socialist and Conservative parties. And the paper is denouncing the use of the theme of national identity as a campaign tool here. And now the paper there is showing a symbol of Marianne. She is the symbol of France, and she's being picked apart, in fact disfigured by members of Les Republicains, the Conservative Party. So you can see Nicolas, Sarkozy, Alain, Juppé, and François Fillon. They're kind of picking her apart. And the paper says that in a quest for voters, the Conservative Party there is now adapting a bad habit of eating out of the bowl of the National Front.
Interesting. All right. Thanks very much, Catherine Viette. Who'll be back a bit later on looking through the international newspaper headlines for us.